Hello. Anyway, I thought this would be something useful to say. Anyway, one of the guys behind, well, the founder of Yoast was basically trying to promote his service in regards to why why his new business regarding WordPress or his business investing is really good. Now, if you want to promote a thing, great, go for it, do what works for you. But one of the things that did sort of confuse me a bit, puzzle me, is a lot of people claim that, WordPress requires you've got to be super smart. You've got to be the star of the team or something like that. And I hate to break it to you guys and girls, WordPress is not hard. If you think WordPress designing is hard, or you think it requires you to be super smart, you have never designed a site in yourself, or you have absolutely no idea how to code. Before WordPress existed, it was a very common practice to build a website. You would have to understand hypertext markup language very well. What do I mean by very well? This means you would have to understand how to do divs, H1 tags, H2 tags, H3 tags, how to code things out, how to style things, how to use CSS, how to work things like Dreamweaver or other software, Notepad+, something else. It doesn't really matter what software you used to use or something else. This is really what coding used to be. When it came to website designing, you actually had to be really smart or spend a lot of time and effort doing it. For example, consider something like eBay as a good example. eBay is a gigantic site. Let's just say you had to fully code or fully use hypertext markup language to do the site. You couldn't use a software like WordPress or something, a CSM or Drupal or Magnet or whatever, it doesn't matter. You had to do it fully yourself. How long would you think it would take one person to do this? Oh, a day? A week? No, it would probably take you about 6 months to a year or even longer. If you were going to do something yourself, you would probably be somewhere between 2 months to a year to longer. If you had 10 or 20 or 50 people doing the coding with you or helping you, you could potentially do it in, say, a month to 2 months, full style like that. But again, that would require each person you're working with to have some level of skill, experience, and to actually understand how hypertext markup language works, how JavaScript works, how CSS or how other things work. Meaning, if you're a WordPress person, you call yourself I'm a serious developer. I've been coding for 2 years. I know everything. I'm sorry to break it to you guys and girls. That does not make you a serious coder. That does not make you a programmer. That just means you can work one thing. WordPress is not designed to be hard. It's designed to be easy. I even read before a few years ago it's been proved that a 12-year-old kid can work WordPress. If a 12-year-old kid has the intelligence or skills to work something like WordPress, that means it is not a hard thing to work, I'm afraid. When I was age 12 in school, I was taught how to do hypertext markup language websites. That was the normal thing you'd done in computing studies. WordPress, when I was in high school, did not really exist. Because it didn't exist, everyone in my school, or people in general around my age group, would have had to learn how to code by using their actual keyboards or using software or other things to do it. This is why there is a big difference regarding being a real website designer versus a WordPress guy girl. I'm not saying WordPress is terrible, but compared to what you can do in other things, WordPress itself has many limitations. By limitations, a good example would be this. When it comes to WordPress and security, WordPress is incredibly easy to hack. By incredibly easy to hack, you don't have to be a trained hacker, you don't have to have 10 years experience. If someone can find out your password, they can basically log into your site, in most cases kind of easy. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but that is really the reality of WordPress. WordPress itself, it relies heavily on plugins. Now, plugins themselves can be good or okay or bad. It always depends on each person who's designed it, or companies or businesses which do that. They can be great in sites, but one of the problems that becomes when your site gets busier or more traffic, you will find in a lot of cases WordPress itself becomes kind of sluggish. By kind of sluggish, it basically means you have a range of options. You have to keep upgrading your server, keep spending more and more money on servers to try and keep your WordPress site running efficiently, or you have to then sort of find ways to, if you like, make WordPress work a bit better, such as disable some plugins, change themes, rewrite things. it can become kind of complicated and kind of messy. This is why when it comes to serious websites or serious online businesses, you will find there is a lot of ones all around the world which are not on WordPress. For example, Facebook's not WordPress, as a good example. Twitter's not WordPress. 4chan's not WordPress. YouTube's not WordPress. And so I'm not going to name every site in the world which is busy or got lots of traffic which is not in WordPress, but there is quite a lot of them. If you actually do real research into things, you will find WordPress itself is actually dropping in popularity. Now, I kind of thought this would happen. The reason why I kind of thought this would happen, a good example would be I heard about quite a few months ago. I think I got told, if I remember that, I think it was like November of last year. Someone contacted me on Discord and was like, "Hey, have you heard of Classic Press?" So I said, "What's Classic Press?" Well, Classic Press, the idea behind Classic Press, but I think it's more of a, I would say it's like a deserted project nowadays, or semi-deserted. Classic Press, the idea behind it was, I'll be fair, credit to the people who done it or started it. The idea behind it was to try and make WordPress less, if you like, messy or less slow, run more efficient. Now, that's a good idea, sure. But one of the problems with Classic Press was kind of a big one. When I tried to use things, none of the plugins or themes would work. So, I mean, the whole point of WordPress is the themes should be working, the plugins should be working. If nothing really works in it, then you can't really use the whole benefit or attraction, because the attraction of WordPress is you can get a plugin which can do more than anything for your website or your client's website. You can also get a plugin which can improve your speed, compress images for you, such as Short Pixel. This is what people seem to be, I find, struggling to understand with regard to Classic Press. Now, good on them for trying it. I can understand why they've done it in regards to a lot of people hating the new WordPress update regarding Gutenberg. Regarding a lot of people still use the plugin called the Classic Press Editor because a lot of people hate the update. I mean, to be fair, when they first came out, the new updates to how things work, and the WordPress editors are not really working well anymore, or not working as they used to, it did irritate me at times. I will be fair. I did find it a bit annoying. But I would say the more I started to use the new, if you like, form of WordPress, I have to admit, it is actually good. Once you get used to the changes they make to it, it is quite good. I'll credit WordPress where it's due. But in general, getting back to my points, calling yourself a website developer, a serious developer when you work on WordPress, I'm sorry to break it to you guys and girls, it is not a serious thing. I'm sorry, it is not. If you think that WordPress designing means you're the best programmer in the world, you're the best of the best, I hate to break it to you, you're not. If you can code in every single language in the world, I can't, but if you can, then great. Then you're the best, I guess. But for a regular person, working in WordPress is not designed to be a hard job. It is designed to be easy. That is why people use WordPress. It's easy to work. It doesn't require you to have a degree. It doesn't require you to have a year's experience. It doesn't require you to be the smartest person alive. It's like Stephen Hawking or Albert Einstein. It means an average man, woman, boy or girl can work it. That is why WordPress became so popular. It's easy to use, that's all. If it wasn't easy to use, people wouldn't use WordPress probably. And this is what I feel a lot of people don't seem to comprehend. If you're happy developing plugins, themes for WordPress, then great, keep doing it. Keep doing what makes you happy. But you still have to be aware, just because you for some reason consider a job which is pretty easy, most of it, as hard work, not everyone else is going to agree with you. And if that upsets you, I'm afraid it's just down to you. For example, if someone criticizes one of my sites, I'm not going to say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." I'll say, "Sure, no problem, you can think what you think. I don't care." I mean, I just feel a lot in general, a lot of people nowadays are just so easy to offend over basically nothing. Anyway, I hope this video is some interest to you, and have a good day. Thank you.